The Hello Kitty Murder, a chilling tale of torture and death. The Hello Kitty murder is one of the most disturbing and gruesome crimes in Hong Kong's history. In 1999, the body of a young woman, Fan Man-yee, was discovered in horrifying conditions after enduring weeks of unimaginable torture. The crime, which became known as the Hello Kitty murder because of the stuffed Hello Kitty doll in which part of her remains were found, shocked the city and the world. The case has since been etched into the annals of true crime due to its horrific details and the sheer brutality of the torture Fan Man-yee endured. Background: Fan Man-yee and her troubled life. Fan Man-yee was a 23-year-old woman from Hong Kong who had lived a troubled life. She had grown up in difficult circumstances, spending part of her childhood in an orphanage, and later struggled with drug addiction. To support her addiction and make ends meet, Fan worked as a nightclub hostess and, at times, engaged in prostitution. In 1997, Fan made the fatal mistake of stealing a wallet containing approximately 4,000 Hong Kong dollars from one of her clients, Chan Man-lok, a local triad member and drug dealer. Chan discovered the theft and demanded that Fan return the money, but she was unable to repay the full amount. What followed was an escalating nightmare of violence, torture, and death that would shock the city of Hong Kong. The kidnapping and torture. In March 1999, Fan Man-yee was abducted by Chan Man-lok and two accomplices, Leung Shing-cho and Leung Wai-lun. They took her to an apartment in the Kowloon district of Hong Kong, where she was held captive for over a month. During this time, Fan was subjected to relentless and sadistic torture by her captors, who seemed to take pleasure in her suffering. The abuse she endured was brutal and inhuman. She was beaten repeatedly, burned with hot plastic and melted candle wax, and forced to consume feces and urine. The trio also used metal bars, kitchen utensils, and other objects to inflict physical harm. One particularly horrifying aspect of the torture was that the captors would laugh and play video games while torturing Fan, treating her agony as a form of entertainment. The group's motivations for torturing Fan were initially related to the money she owed, but as the days went on, the violence became more about the captors' sadistic pleasure. They would film parts of the abuse and continue to torment her even as her health deteriorated. Fan Man-yee's death. After enduring weeks of brutal torture, Fan Man-yee eventually succumbed to her injuries. Her captors, realizing she had died, became paranoid about being caught for the murder. In an effort to dispose of the body and hide the evidence, they dismembered Fan's corpse. They boiled her body parts in a large pot to prevent decomposition and make it easier to dispose of the remains. In a grotesque turn of events, Fan's skull was placed inside a Hello Kitty mermaid doll, a decision that would later give the case its infamous name, the Hello Kitty murder. The rest of her body was either discarded or stored in various parts of the apartment. Discovery of the crime. The Hello Kitty murder might have gone undiscovered had it not been for a 14-year-old girl, who was the girlfriend of one of the perpetrators, Leung Shing-cho. The girl had witnessed some of the torture and had been coerced into participating in minor acts of abuse. However, she became increasingly disturbed by the horrific scenes she had seen and began experiencing nightmares about Fan's ghost. Overcome with guilt and fear, the girl eventually went to the police and confessed what she had witnessed. Her detailed account of the torture, death, and dismemberment of Fan Man-yee led to the arrest of Chan Man-lok, Leung Shing-cho, and Leung Wai-lun in May 1999. Trial and sentencing. The trial for the Hello Kitty murder began in December 2000 and quickly garnered massive media attention due to the shocking nature of the crime. The prosecution relied heavily on the testimony of the 14-year-old girl, who provided harrowing details about the torture Fan had endured. The defense argued that Fan had died from a drug overdose and that the captors had only mutilated her body posthumously. However, the severity of Fan's injuries suggested that her death was a direct result of the prolonged abuse. Due to the absence of forensic evidence, Fan's internal organs had been either destroyed or discarded. The prosecution was unable to secure murder convictions for the three defendants. Instead, Chan, Leung, and Leung were convicted of manslaughter and unlawful imprisonment. The trio received life sentences with the possibility of parole after 20 years. The sentences sparked public outrage, as many believed that the punishment did not fit the severity of the crime. The brutality of the torture, the casual cruelty displayed by the captors, and the dismemberment of Fan's body left a lasting scar on Hong Kong's collective consciousness. Legacy and impact. The Hello Kitty murder is still remembered as one of the most gruesome crimes in Hong Kong's history. The sheer brutality of the torture and the fact that Fan Man-yee's skull was found inside a child's toy, an image associated with innocence, created a macabre contrast that shocked both the public and the media. The case highlighted the dark underbelly of Hong Kong's criminal underworld, exposing the intersection of drugs, prostitution, and organized crime. It also raised questions about the capacity for human cruelty, especially when violence becomes a form of entertainment or pleasure for the perpetrators. Over the years, the case has been the subject of numerous documentaries, books, and true crime series, and it remains a chilling example of extreme sadism and dehumanization.